Thanks for joining. This is the second of our series of webinars, specifically on giving an opportunity for fresh people, right? New engineers, people who are in college, final year college, second year, third year, whatever, engineering college people, an opportunity to talk to people who are in the industry and answer questions about how to handle interviews and how to, uh, you know, attend an interview and things like that. So the last time we had questions which we were asking everybody. I think this time we'll open it up in the beginning itself. If any, so I'm sure all of you will have questions. നിങ്ങൾക്ക് സംശയങ്ങളുണ്ടാവും എങ്ങനെയാണ് ഇന്റർവ്യൂ ചെയ്യേണ്ടത് എന്താണ് ഇന്റർവ്യൂവിൽ ചോദ്യം വരിക എന്തൊക്കെയാണ് പഠിക്കേണ്ടത് things like that, questions like this, all those you feel free to ask. So I think we'll start right away. Anybody who has questions, feel free to ask. I think you can unmute yourself, ask the question, and then Shamlik and I can answer it. Maybe before that, I'll give an introduction about Shamlik. Shamlik, you want to introduce yourself first? I think that will be good.
No, actually, you can tell.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So my name is Shamlik. So currently I'm working for a company called Cytarx. It's a healthcare domain company in US. So I'm pretty much into data engineering side, and I have completed my college in 2015. That's it.
Where did you study, etc.?
MSc college, engineering college in Kuchippuram. And so I know Python, Golang, mostly on DevOps side, basically my whole expertise is. So if you have any question, so something like that, so which field you need to choose and how to prepare an interview, so what are the best company in this specific domain, that kind of thing, actually you can simply ask.
Okay, so that's Shamlik's introduction. He passed out in 2015, so that's not very long ago. So feel free to ask questions. Feel free.
No, I think just you may want to give the context of the nature of the questions, right? So think about it, guys. So Shamlik is there, who graduated very recently, not far ago, and Shamlik has been in the industry. So the questions relevant to you are maybe like, the way I'm thinking is, okay, I am in the final year of engineering or third year of engineering. Now, how do I find a job? What kind of jobs do I look for? Okay, let's assume I get a software job, then what am I supposed to do? And what are the companies out there? So these are the kind of questions that, like, if I were in your shoes, I would be having in my mind. And what we want to do is, through Lyceum, we want to work with an expert who's currently in the industry, who was in your situation like not far ago, and then get some answers from them. So feel free to make use of it. Of course, we have like a structured, like, set of questions that we will be asking, but even from the get-go, we want to make it interactive. We want you guys to actually, like, pitch and start asking questions and make use of it as much as you can. I don't want like anyone of you, like, to leave from here thinking, hey, it was an utter waste of time, right? So instead of that, I mean, think of this as your meeting wherein you make use of the people who are there and get the best out of them. Okay.
If your audio is not clear, you can type also. The verum or a recorded video or a YouTube video or somebody's trying to speak, but I can't hear anything.
That's echo now. If anybody has put, like, you on speaker,
Okay.
So basically you guys all recently graduated or college students, isn't it?
I
think most of them are students. Shamlik.
Final years are okay. Can you just say final years are chat +1 or thumbs up at final years? Any final years?
Just ask them to raise a hand.
Yeah, raise your hand or something.
There is a raise hand button on the side.
There's a raise hand button?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. Any final years? Are okay final years?
I see 2 people who raise their hands.
Okay, third years. Third years are Okay, PG. Okay, there's a PG. Ask that PG article.
PG recently graduated. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, great, cool.
2019 graduated. Okay. Second years are any second years? Can you just type second year? No, you need to get an idea of how many people. Any second years?
Yeah, I see a couple of people who raise their hands.
How do you get? Where do you see that?
On the side, look at participants.
Okay.
So click on participants.
Fine.
When you scroll the list, then you can find people who have raised their hand.
So raise their hand. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. That's nice. Okay.
And I think there is somebody who had graduated in 2019 also. So good. I think you have a pretty distributed crowd.
Good mix. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, now you can എന്തെങ്കിലും ചോദിക്കാണ്ടെങ്കിൽ see like what you should understand നിങ്ങൾ മനസ്സിലാക്കേണ്ടത് എന്താ വെച്ചാൽ once ഈ lockdown കഴിഞ്ഞ ശേഷം this thing is going, we don't know how the industry is going to be, right? Bhargav Tumala, can you mute your microphone? Okay. So industry COVID, the coronavirus lockdown കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ once this thing is over, we don't know how it's going to be. എങ്ങനെ ഇൻഡസ്ട്രിയുടെ അവസ്ഥ നമുക്ക് എങ്ങനെ ഉണ്ടാവുമെന്ന് പറയാൻ പറ്റില്ല. So we should be prepared, right? And ആ സമയത്തുള്ള ഓപ്പർച്യൂണിറ്റീസ് ഒക്കെ നമ്മൾ മുതലാക്കണം. So you have എന്താ ഞാൻ ചെയ്യേണ്ടത്, what should I be doing right now, what should I prepare, etc. അങ്ങനത്തെ എന്തെങ്കിലുമൊക്കെ ചോദ്യങ്ങൾ ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ Shamlik is somebody who's been in the industry for some time. I've also been in the industry for a long time, so we can help you with that. But വെറും ഒരു recorded session ആയിട്ട് യൂട്യൂബിൽ കൊണ്ട് ഇട്ടിട്ട് കാര്യമില്ല. It's not supposed to be like one full recorded session which we just put on YouTube which you can watch anytime. This is for you to ask. അപ്പോൾ നിങ്ങൾ take advantage of the time. ചോദ്യങ്ങൾ ചോദിച്ചോളൂ.
ഹലോ, ഗുഡ് ആഫ്റ്റർനൂൺ. എൻ്റെ പേര് രോഹിത് ആണ്. എനിക്കൊരു ചോദ്യമുണ്ട്. ഞാനിപ്പം എനിക്ക് പൈത്തൺ ണ്ട്. സാർ നേരത്തെ പറഞ്ഞ ഇൻഡസ്ട്രീസിലാവുമ്പം ഈ കുറെ ടെക്നോളജീസ് അങ്ങോട്ടും മാറി പോവല്ലോ. ഒരു പുതിയ ടെക്നോളജി വരുന്ന സമയത്ത് ഞാൻ അതെങ്ങനെ പെട്ടെന്ന് കോപ്പപ്പ് ചെയ്യുക എന്നുള്ള ചോദ്യമുണ്ട്. അതെല്ലാം എങ്ങനെ പഠിച്ചെടുക്കുക, ഒരു ഇത്രയും കിട്ടുന്ന കുറച്ച് സമയം കൊണ്ട് അതെങ്ങനെ എടുക്കുക എന്നുള്ളൊരു ചെറിയ ഡൗട്ട് ഉണ്ട്.
Okay. So the question, I'll just translate. The question is, suppose you study one language or one technology, and then when you enter the industry, you might find that you need something else. You studied Java, but you enter the industry and you find out that in your job you need C or you need Python. How will you learn it quickly? That's the question. That's the question, no?
അതെ.
Yeah. Fine. Shamlik?
Yeah, so from my experience, the fundamentals will be same. So something like that, data structure is same. The technology is basically something. If you want to learn Python over C or CPP, there must be some syntactical difference, obviously. Other than so there is a Python is way, basically every language its own way, something like that. So Python ന്റെ way ഉണ്ടായിരിക്കും, C actually C ന്റെ ഒരു way ഉണ്ടായിരിക്കും. പക്ഷെ നിങ്ങൾ ഫണ്ടമെന്റൽ സ്ട്രോങ് ആണെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ആക്ച്വലി സോ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് അതിന്റെ സിമാൻറ്റിക്സ് അറിയാം, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ എന്താണ് പറയാ, ഒരു ഓവറോൾ ഒരു ലാംഗ്വേജിൽ കുഴപ്പമില്ലാത്തൊരു അണ്ടർസ്റ്റാൻഡിങ് ഉണ്ട് എന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ സോ യു ക്യാൻ. സോ അതിനൊരു എക്സെപ്ഷൻസ് എന്താണുള്ളതെന്ന് വെച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ, സപ്പോസ് ദിസ് നോട്ട് ജെഎസ് ദേ ആർ യൂസിങ് പ്രോമിസസ് ആൻഡ് അങ്ങനത്തെ ടൈമിൽ ചെറിയൊരു ഡിഫിക്കൽറ്റി വരും. അല്ലെങ്കിൽ എൻറ്റയർലി ഡിഫറെന്റ് type of languages ആയിരിക്കണം. Something, there are a lot of type of language, something called function languages. So if you need to switch Python to some Haskell, some kind of function language, there will be some kind of hard work actually you need to do. Other than actually same type languages actually switch ചെയ്യണമെങ്കിൽ so what I will do basically, so initially I will learn the syntax. Suppose I need to learn JavaScript or learn Golang. So I will easily learn whole syntax. Then I just blindly start to code, and the practice is the best way. So you can you can refer any documentation for the particular languages. Then actually you just learn the syntax, and you just read something about that actually. So how does it compile, and how is the interpreted language? It's a fundamental thing actually. So that our language in our പ്രത്യേകത ഉണ്ടാവും. So you just understand that, and you just simply code, and that's the easiest way actually. So yeah, it's a the again I'm saying that if your fundamentals are strong, then actually you can easily switch to another language. The language is just a tools actually. So something like that, Python or Golang is a similar kind of language basically. So one is interpreted language, one is compiled language, but actually you can easily switch to interpret this Python to Golang. So just learn syntax. That's the thing. So yeah, that's my opinion. Is there anything, Officer?
No, I think what you're saying is correct. Learning, like if you know a language properly, then if your basics are strong, then learning a new language will not take that much time, right? നിങ്ങൾക്ക് അത്ര സമയം പിടിക്കില്ല. But I can add one thing. In college, people ask this question, right? Should I study Python or should I study Java? അങ്ങനത്തെ ചോദ്യങ്ങളുണ്ടാവും. Okay, I'm sure നിങ്ങൾ എല്ലാവരും ചോദിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ടാവും. Lot of you will have asked this question. Sir, ഏതാ scope ഉള്ളത്? Which is better? Python ആണോ Java ആണോ? Should I study Python or Java? Which has more scope? Which one should I study to get a job? This kind of question. And the answer to that really is both of them. Okay, you have 4 years in college, or like for the third year, 2 years in college, or PG maybe 2 years, 1-2 years. Within 4 years, you can study both languages, no problem. Okay, so don't do this choice business. Either if I study Java, something is wrong. If I study Python, something is wrong. You study lots of languages, different level of skill. But if you study lots of languages, studying one new language will be very easy. Okay, so try to expand your knowledge like that. Don't specialize at college. Don't become a machine learning expert or DevOps expert. At college, you should become as wide as possible. Okay, you do a little bit of mobile development, little bit of web development, little bit of machine learning, little bit of AI, little bit of Python, Go, C, Java, whatever. Keep yourself very wide. If you are wide, then when you have to pick up a new language, you will have enough experience to actually pick up the new language. It's like this, right? Like, just imagine if you know only Malayalam and you have to study Kannada, it will be a bit tough. If you know Malayalam, Telugu, Tamil, and maybe Marathi, then you have to study Kannada. It won't be very hard. You can manage, right? Something like that.
Yeah, actually, yeah, it's a pretty good. Pretty good point.
So keep your basics. So as a summary, I think Minati, perhaps you should take notes also on this. Which reminds me, we'll be sending out summaries of all the questions. So if you have questions, when you ask them, we'll collate all the answers and send it to you as a single thing. Okay. So how do you study new languages quickly? How do you study new technologies quickly? The answer basically is, first, keep your basics strong. Okay. Second thing, switching languages means mostly switching the syntax and then just starting to do it. Don't worry about being perfect. Okay, your first few programs will be bad, but you will get better only by practice. And the third thing is, when you are at college, study as many languages as possible. Study as many technologies as possible. May not be deep, but you should have basic understanding of as many languages and technologies as possible. The more you have, the easier new ones will be. So when you enter the job, you become more effective. You can learn things faster. Okay. Next question.
Is the right answer, Rohit?
Rohit,
yeah.
Cool.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? You can raise your hand if you want to be unmuted or something. You can ask like that. That's everything.
Am I audible?
Yeah, Kalkanda.
Hello.
Who is this?
My name is Atul. Yeah.
Okay.
Uh, my question is that how to get most out of the initial training period at my first job.
And your training period in your first job.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So you just newly entered to one job. So how to make it very good?
Yeah.
So yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So my opinion will be basically learn as much as possible. Actually, learn. So your company will work on a specific technology. Something like that. Actually, you can say Python Django. Okay, it's a web framework in Python. So learn as much as possible of that particular framework or particular technology. Okay. Then other point, basically don't ask silly questions repeatedly. Just think one thing, and suppose you need to ask a one question actually. So you need to think like that actually. Do I need to ask this? It will be a silly. Then actually just Google about that particular question little bit. Then only you just ask. Otherwise, if you ask a lot of silly questions, so the people will start to think like, so you're pretty amateur or you're pretty, yeah, some kind of nuisance to them. So this will be this will be applicable for all companies basically. So you just learn as much as possible, then actually ask the question. Basically it should be valid and it should be deep, and yeah, you just try to avoid the silly question. So something like that actually, hey, what's the syntax for this particular function, why we need to call this particular function, something like that actually. So you just read their code, actually their production ready code, then actually you will understand much more from that code. Suppose actually if you want to know what this particular function will do, so before asking someone else, actually, you just read the enter program or enter function. There actually you will get little bit idea. Then actually, if you don't get if you didn't get any idea, then just ask them. Then actually, yeah, learn and present new things, something like that. Suppose actually your current company is basically your newly joined company is using some technology, so it's a little bit old tech tech old tech actually. So then actually you just learn a new tech and just say to them, there's new tech available for that particular job, so we can if you want, actually we can use it, something like that. Suggest new technology to them, that kind of give and take thing actually. Yeah, that's thing. Is there any other?
This one you should understand. Asking questions. Okay, it's a very useful skill. You should learn how to ask good questions. Okay, so like Shamlik said, വളരെ basic ആയിട്ടുള്ള, like ഒരു Google ചെയ്താൽ കിട്ടുന്ന answer. Like if you just Google for it, you will find it. Don't ask such questions. Do some amount of work yourself. Okay. If you do work yourself, people, and then you ask questions, all the questions you ask will be tough, solid questions. And another questions, if people start saying like, oh, this fellow is a very serious guy, he knows his stuff very well, he does a lot of research before asking. If they see stuff like that, then automatically their impression of you will improve. Okay. So first point is ask questions, but do your research before asking questions. Ask tough questions. Okay, that's one thing. Second thing, this is, I think, good advice in all areas of your life, in all times. Don't slack. Okay. When you are in your training period, make sure you study. I mean, like they're putting you in the training period so that you improve your skills and become valuable to the company. So at that time, they'll give you a structure, like these are the things you have to study, these are the things you have to do. Make sure you do everything. Make sure you do everything, and where you're stuck, you ask them questions and clarify it. Okay, because we want they want the quality of the person to improve. Okay, that's the second thing. So, and third thing, which is little more subtle, during the training period, try to find good people at the company. Okay, wherever you're working, there will be good tech people, good people who can mentor well. നന്നായി പഠിപ്പിക്കാനും പറഞ്ഞു തരാനൊക്കെ പറ്റുന്ന അറിയുന്ന ആൾക്കാർ. Okay, people who ask like, like what should, people who will actually answer your questions and take an interest in developing you. You find such people and create good relationships with them. Okay, because that will actually help you a lot in that company. You will have somebody to sort of watch your back, a buddy, a senior buddy. Okay, and that's a big difference. Okay, that my first job I actually suffered because I didn't have such a buddy. Okay, so that's something which you should develop. Okay, so you should look for people like that. All right. So who was the person who asked the question? Atul, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Did we answer your question?
Yes. Thank you.
So these 3 points, huh? You can summarize it.
Okay.
Yeah, we have
Somebody,
one question chat.
yeah. Somebody called Realme. I don't know. Perenda, what's your name? I can't call you Realme. Realme has asked a question. Yeah, that sounds funny. Okay, so the question is, what kind of questions should we ask when an interviewer asks whether we have any questions for them? Right, so this is important. It's a very good question. All interviews, they have this question at the end. In fact, when I interview people, I also ask this question. Do you have any questions for me? Okay, and this is something which this is something important. The thing is, see, before you apply for an interview, suppose you're going to an interview to say Infosys, or let's say, I don't know, some company. You should do some research. You should understand what the company is, like what they're doing and some things like that. And when you do research, you study the company, right? And you have some questions about what that company is doing and some details like that. You should use this opportunity to clarify all that. Okay. If you do that, the interviewer sort of sees that, okay, this fellow's done some amount of research. He's interested in the company. She wants to know more about it, etc. That kind of it generally it gives a good vibe. Okay, it gives a good what do you call impression to the interviewer. So ask intelligent questions and do your homework before you go for the interview. Do some preparation. Do some do some research about the company. Find out about what's going on over there, etc. And then ask. Okay, Indrajit.
As soon as like the interviewer sees it, they understand that this guy had done some research. Okay, create that, and while you do that research, note down the most important question that occurred to you, or like that you weren't sure about. Okay, now when the interviewer comes to you and asks you, okay, do you have any questions for me, pull out this sheet. Okay, which most of your classmates might not have had. Okay, pull out this sheet and then bring your interviewer to that sheet. Okay, help him understand what you have put in there. That's why I said kind of create a framework as to the way you have understood the situation in that company, and then walk him through that. I mean, and it shouldn't take too much time. Maybe in 30 seconds he understands what you have put there, and then point him to a question that's buried in that framework. If you do that, I think you will truly stand out in front of your competition out there. Okay,
You'll get the job.
so yeah, you will definitely get the job. This is a hack which I have tried, and it had worked me in in getting multiple job offers. So do that the next time.
Shamlik, do you have anything to add?
Not actually. So yeah, the same thing happened with me also. Suppose my first interview was for TCS. So obviously they will ask. So they just asked. So is there anything about our company, something like that. So that time, so basically TCS actually India's passport verification ആ പ്രോസസ്സിലോട്ട് ഇറങ്ങാൻ പോവുകയായിരുന്നു ആ ടൈം 2015 that
Okay.
at that time. So I just asked about that particular area. So they were pretty much impressed, and obviously I got that job. So the same answer basically. So you just prepare something that company. So ask based on that. That's my answer. Am I audible? Hello. Hello.
Yeah, Shamlik, I can hear you.
Yeah,
Shamlik,
Shamlik,
we
can hear you. My internet dropped for an instant. Sorry.
Okay, okay. I thought actually no,
No. It's my fault.
Okay, okay, cool.
There was somebody else who had a question, right?
No, I think nothing yet so far. How to impress them with our resume? Do we have to change our resume for different companies' interview? Yeah, Shamlik, you have any comments on that?
Yeah, the same thing actually. So every company, so they use their own technology. So you should highlight that technology into your resume. So don't make the general resume. So make the individual resume for each application. So it will take some time for you. So prepare that resume, but actually highlight that particular technology in your resume. Then you will get interview call very easily. Otherwise, actually, this HR guys will verify this resume. So typically, so they will look for any highlighting technologies, something like the Python, Django, this Node.js. They don't know anything about that particular tech, but actually they will look only for that particular keyword. So make highlight for that particular company technology in your resume.
I can also add one more thing. There is a difference between when you are directly going face to face to a person and sitting down, that when you give them a copy of the resume, that's one thing. But when you're applying via email and things like that, one thing which actually helps is to have a cover letter. Okay. A cover letter is sort of like when you're applying to colleges outside India and all that, you have something like a statement of purpose, which is saying that why do you want this job? Why should they hire you for this job? What is your interest in applying for this job? That sort of tells them how they and you will sort of fit together. Okay. And there you can really impress them. If you do it right, if you do some research and you write nicely what's going on and all that, you can really impress them. Okay. So the resume, I mean, see, like very early in your careers, there's a limit to how much you can change your resume per employer, because you'll have 4 years of college experience. That's what everyone will have. So you'll say this year to this year 10 standard, this year to this year college, this year technology studied, whatever your coursework is. If all of you are like, the KTU syllabus, then the KTU syllabus is what everyone will have studied. And then after that, maybe you'll have hobbies, drinking, reading, watching movies, playing cricket, the standard list of hobbies which everybody has. So like that's it. But the thing is, like, your cover letter is where you can really shine. You can really say, like, this is what I have, this is why I'm applying, this is what I've done, this is, etc., etc. So this only for emailed things, okay, if you're applying via email. But if you're meeting a person face to face, your cover letter will be your own introduction. When you speak in the parayana, that's what will make the difference. But as a general rule, separate resumes for separate companies, because you highlight, like Shamlik said, you highlight different parts of your experience. Somebody is specifically, you know Python and Java, then don't write in detail about your Python experience for a Java company. You just say like other technologies, Python. But if you're applying for a Python job, then you write in detail with your Python experience and other technologies, Java. So you can change it depending on this.
Apart from that, actually, if you are a college student, so basically make small and host it to GitHub. Then actually, so attach that particular link in CV or resume. Then actually they will get impressed. Okay, so this guy had done this many projects. Okay, and actually you will be something different rather than this. So this into this year in college, school, that kind of thing actually. So small silly project, but actually it will be a huge benefit for you.
So you should
Yeah.
You should yeah, so I don't, so the thing is, like, online tests, you need a sort of frame of mind, right? And many a time, many of these companies use separate testing platforms. They're not going to implement, like, maybe some big companies like TCS and all that will have their own testing infrastructure, but most companies will rely on uh, testing tools provided by HackerRank or Metal or HackerEarth or one of those other people, right? And most of those websites have online things where you can sign up and take tests yourself. Okay, so what you should do is you should practice in that mode. There are, I think at least HackerRank, I know they have a timed kind of thing. You have to solve within this much time kind of thing. So you'll work under pressure, right? And see, those kinds of tests are like entrance exams. They don't really judge your knowledge that accurately, but they're like, what you call qualification tests, right? So you should so practice. Don't you can't read from a book separately and code a lot and all that and expect to ace an online test. Might not be possible. You'll have to take online tests itself. So my recommendation would be that you practice with these existing websites like HackerRank, HackerEarth. I don't know if Metal has one, but there are others, Leet Code, many others like that. Okay, so you practice with those things directly, timed and all that, and then you sort of develop a thing. And how much extent of preparation really depends on your confidence. I mean, how much should you prepare? Really, I mean, there's no answer, right? If you can you prepare more? Yeah, of course you can prepare more. No matter how much you prepare, you can always prepare more. So there's no way. I mean, that's not really a thing. Did I answer your
Yeah.
question, Sushrut?
I think nowadays basically Cisco and everybody rely on this HackerRank platform. It's a very good
Yeah,
platform.
right. So if you have a good HackerRank profile, it will really help you to get jobs.
You just
So
okay,
you should take
have
some
this
time to you should take some time to develop a. Sorry, Shamlik, I'm sorry, I interrupted.
So basically, you can put that rank into resume. So it's a huge benefit for you. And yeah, Geeks for Geeks is a good platform for study actually. So they have all kind of material. So and all kind of interview questions. Basically, Amazon they will ask this question, and Cisco they will ask this question. So Geeks for Geeks is a good platform for study.
Just type it, Geeks for Geeks, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hi, Shamlik. This is Roshan.
Hi, Roshan.
Okay, actually, I have a question to you because now we are facing a difficult situation. We are facing Corona time, and my question is, what will be the IT industry during this Corona time? Because many companies are not hiring IT employees. Many companies are working remotely, and many MNCs are not hiring much pupils. And my question is, what will be the IT industry after COVID or during the COVID?
I think actually Noufal sir, you should ask, you should answer this.
This is a very, I mean, this question, like, what will happen in the future is very hard to answer because
So let me. I have some input there. Okay.
yeah, go
So
ahead.
let me tell you. So it's of course, like, we have been hearing about all these negative news about how uh, different companies are going through trouble and all that stuff, right? Different industries are impacted. Of course, like, there is an overall impact on demand. Okay, the economy has, like, slowed down, and there is huge uncertainty in front of companies. But what has happened, if you look at, like, COVID, is people have realized that, like, there are alternate ways to go around doing their things the way, like, they were doing. And if you look at it, most of it has to do with technology. Okay. For example, like, if you look at the
stock market in the US, on March 20th or so, the major index was down by 30%. Okay. And most of the the stocks came down. But what had happened in like a month or so is all the technology companies, their stocks have either gotten back to the level that they were before, or they have shot beyond that. Okay. So what it means is, even though there is impact on certain sectors, okay, some other sectors are gaining. Okay. And the two sectors that are primarily gaining are pharma and IT. Okay. So the way and if you look at most of the companies in the US, for example, like Facebook announced that they are planning to hire 10,000 new engineers in next 2 or 3 years. Okay. Similarly, there is a lot of activities happening around technology companies. And even from a local level, what I can say is clearly the kind of demand that IT companies are having, even in Calicut, is huge. I mean, a lot of people are really doing or are really getting requests for doing projects. And for many of the smaller players that never cared about technology, they are now accelerating a move towards technology. For example, if you look at even the smaller things that had popped up, right? For instance, many of the small retail shops, right? Those Kinara stores, they're all now trying to create delivery, online delivery, based applications and stuff. So clearly what I can see is there is going to be huge demand for software programmers and technology, technology developers. So I think even though there may be a perception that there is going to be impact, I think the sector that will bounce back the fastest will be software. Okay. And I wouldn't be surprised if more and more people would come to the campus and start recruiting. Of course, the big players, right? I mean, Infosys, Wipro, these companies will be having a lot of caution, because they have clients that are sitting in so many different sectors, and maybe those clients will be cutting down on their requirement and stuff. But my guess is if I were to bet, I will definitely bet on technology, and I'll be bullish there. So I won't be too much stressed out about the overall opportunity. If I were in your shoes, what I will try to do is I'll try to prepare for it. I'll try to figure out how I can be competitive for the available jobs. What kind of skills can I develop in order to stand out? That's what I will do if I were in your shoes. I don't know whether that answered your question, but that's essentially what it should be.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
So you can see some interesting things already. Like till the coronavirus hit, the most heavily downloaded app in India was WhatsApp, Android. After Corona came, it became Zoom. Okay. Within what, 1 week? Okay, there was Zoom was spending so much money trying to become that, but they didn't do it, right? Because of this one virus, it shifted to Zoom. That's like a huge shift, right? So schools are moving online, right? A lot of schools are moving online. So a lot of people are there doing opportunities there. I can give you an example of a company that recently I came across. They're a Zoom plugin. Okay, they're basically a Zoom plugin. If you enable that, what will happen is it will cancel all background noises. So if you have your kids or your pets or your fan or anything, all that will cancel. It will become clear audio. Okay, they're making money now.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a question of opportunity, but the problem is the other side of that is for people I don't know who was asking the question. Roshan. Yeah. So I don't know where you are in your career, but if there's somebody who's studying in the second year, let's say, or somebody here who said third year, it's not really immediately visible what will happen in another 2 years. Okay. So you cannot predict to that, because technology changes very, very fast, right?
Yeah, you're right.
So the thing is, you keep your solids pucka. After 2 years of college, when you come out, if you say I don't know how to program, then you are in trouble. It doesn't matter what the industry is. You finish 2 more years, you're in second year college, you finish 2 more years, you come out of college and you say, I don't know any programming languages, I don't know how to program, I don't know this logic and all that, then those 2 years are wasted. So,
So,
you make
I
sure
just
that.
shared.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nafal, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, I
So
just shared, like, if you mentioned Zoom, I just shared, like, something on the screen. So if you can see, uh, on the right-hand side is all the US airlines, okay? And how much valuation they all have. So their combined valuation is 46.21 billion, okay? Now the Zoom app, okay, is 48.78 billion. So this is how, like, things just changed because of COVID, okay? And if, as I was saying, if I were to bet, I would bet in technology. So my hunch is, like, there will be a lot more jobs that will be available in technology for people who are coming out.
Right. So
Okay, thank
yeah,
you. Thanks.
so keep your skills up to date. Make sure you're hireable. If somebody comes to your college or is looking for a job, you should be the first one they are interested in taking. You invest in yourself. Right?
Okay, thank you.
Technology is not going to go away.
I think it's the best time for study new thing and invest in yourself actually. So you
Yeah,
can go
that's
outside and there's no other options. Just
yeah.
study.
So,
Yeah. So instead of seeing any television, any series actually, so nowadays basically everybody behind all this series basically. So money heist, that kind of thing. So that actually you can see later actually. Invest time on yourself. So just study new materials, new technology. It's the best thing.
Okay, thank you, Shamlik. Thank you. Thanks
Yeah.
a lot.
Full rush.
Actually, everyone have this same doubt because everyone, when we see the news, many MNC companies are not hiring this year. We are seeing such news very
yeah, but the news is generally like, if news gives you a very clear,
actually it makes
calm
some
number,
confusion to everyone.
right?
So I just asked this
So,
question.
Right.
so,
So news will
so
always
Roshan,
give you sensational stuff.
and Roshan, I want to, like, tell you from mine and Naufal's experience. So both of us graduated from NIT Calicut in 2001. Okay. While we
Okay.
were in college, while we were going through the placement season in 2000, okay, our placement was like, I mean, something unbelievable, right? And there were like tons of companies that were coming. A lot of people have like multiple job offers. I had like 2 jobs, okay, and this was in 2000. And most of the computer science students, I think even like people who had back papers and stuff, they were all recruited into companies, okay, and they were like looking for more people, and they were even like trying to recruit uh, BR people who like weren't even eligible for campus placement. Then what happened is like the whole like 2001 internet bubble burst, okay, and then what? And then as a result of that, out of whatever number of students that we had and or whatever number of students graduated, 50% of the students couldn't join, okay, because all the companies kind of reneged on their job offers, or like they said, unfortunately we cannot take you in, okay. And then and then even like the 50% of the people who joined, I think another 50% of those people, they lost their jobs within 2 or 3 months, okay. So think about the scenario, okay. Now
Oh,
when I look back, okay, all the people that graduated and that had like job offers or that didn't get job, all of them are doing like exceptionally well, okay. None of them like I mean, of course, like there was a little bit of, I'm not underplaying like the struggle, but a lot of people like struggled. But during that struggle, what they did was they actually like studied new things, developed their skills, and then found like one job or the other. I know like there were around like 5 people who actually were recruited in the like the top 4 companies, and then they weren't able to join. What they did was they came to Bangalore, and in 2 months they were able to actually join a company as a contractor through somebody else. So that company, like they weren't recruiting full-time employees, but they were recruiting through a contractor, okay. Now all of
okay.
them like actually found job through the contractor and then worked in that company. And after 6 months, once like the whole like thing became clear for the companies, they all like were given full-time offers, and most of them like joined that company, okay. So don't worry too much about like the noise out there, okay. And consistently like human beings have shown that they have this like resilience, and they come back
Yeah,
after
yeah,
setbacks. Okay,
yeah.
so
You're right. You're right.
I mean, like everything, this too shall pass. Okay, Corona, like, of course, it may stay with us for some time, as people are predicting, but we will find a way to, like, work through it and go about, like, doing our things. But what is important is, are you prepared? I mean, are you able to, like, compete much better compared to anybody else?
Yeah, yeah, right.
Okay.
So focus on yourself, not on the virus.
Yeah, actually, everyone
Somebody.
has this doubt, and everyone has this current situation facing problems. That's why
Yeah,
I
so
asked this
yeah, I
question.
mean, it's fully understandable, but there's a lot of, I mean, the news will only give you sensational stuff because they
Yeah,
want views, right? And everyone, this will exaggerate. WhatsApp forwards will be there saying that so many people died, this and that, etc. So don't worry about all that. You focus on
okay,
yourself.
thank you.
You keep your skills pakka. When the thing passes, you will have your opportunities.
Okay,
I
thank you.
think.
No, sir.
Cool.
Thank you.
There's some
Thank you.
question.
One
Sorry.
additional thing I wanted to add for, like, the question that Shushruth asked, like, what are, like, the online, I mean, any tips for the extent of preparation for an online test? So I don't know, Shushruth, whether you're from NIT Calicut or not, but we have actually an app called NSkill that NIT has used for its for doing its campus placement this year. Okay, and going forward, NIT Calicut will be using the same application. Okay, and
Okay.
we are actually coming out with a mobile app. Okay, end of May or early June, we will have a mobile app ready. And what we are planning to do is, there will be bunch of, like, exams and evaluation tests and even interview preparation content that you will be able to access through that app. Okay, some of them, of course, will be paid content, but there will be, like, plenty of free practice questions and stuff. So and that's if you're a student in NIT. For other, like, college students, we are, like, working with your colleges, like, to make it available, or you guys will have access to it probably a little bit later, maybe, like, July or August. From, I mean, it will be available for general public. Okay, so I mean, try it out along with, like, everything else that you got from the call, and then maybe, like, you guys can give feedback as to how to improve that. So it's NSkill app that will probably help you out.
Okay, I think we have two more questions. I'll answer the first one first. Is project necessary for the placement? Shamlik, you want to take that?
Of course,
think it's
actually, project. Yeah, yeah.
Tarun.
Yeah, so yeah, Tarun actually. Yeah, so Tarun, so the thing is basically the project is necessary for the placement basically. So if you need to go to some technical job, so if you have done any good project, so you can highlight on your interview actually. So I have done so this many technologies, so this using blockchain basically I have done this project, and so you will learn something from that project. It won't be that much production quality, or it will be fully buggy, but actually eventually you will learn something from that project. I think it's good to have a project actually in your resume.
Okay, I agree with what Shamlik said, and I'll add to that. See, everything else in college is the stuff which the college is forcing you to do. Right? You have no initiative. You can't decide which subjects you want to study. You can't decide on anything like that. Your project is a place where you can show your individuality. Like, you specifically take a tough project, you work hard on it, and you produce something. That's a huge thing. Okay, that shows initiative, it shows skill, it shows knowledge, it shows so many things. Right? So you take that as, don't treat your project like I need to finish subject 1, subject 2, subject 3, project subject 4, and if I get so much marks in that, it's pass and I'm done. Don't treat it like that. Treat your project as an opportunity to showcase yourself. Okay, you do a very good project and then you talk about it during the interview. You say, I did this, I did that, and I had this complication, that complication, this all that. You basically market yourself properly, then it becomes extremely valuable. So
Yeah,
don't
it's
do
a good
lot. So a lot of people here, especially in Kerala, unfortunately, they do this business of they pay somebody to do the project for them. Okay,
thing. Yeah, yeah.
there are a lot of these rubbish companies here and there who actually take money just to do projects. So like you pay us 5,000 rupees, we'll do your project and give you the certificate, and then they'll teach you the project so that you can present it in your thing. That's complete waste of that time. Okay, you learn nothing else. There's no other value in that. Don't do that. And then in the fourth year, implement something solid. Okay, your project is like it's like part of your portfolio. It's something which you should be proud of, something which you can show off. So try to make it like that. May I answer your question?
Yeah, so നമ്മളെ കോളേജിൽ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു actually. So they will go to Calicut and give them some money and
Yeah,
so that
everywhere,
company
everywhere.
yeah. So the my thing is just that yeah, you can keep it as a backup plan actually. So first actually you just do yourself actually. So by that time actually you will learn little bit, and so the thing is basically you will understand something. It won't be that much great or that much good, but actually you will understand something actually. So just do yourself actually first. So I don't know actually. In ഞാനിപ്പോഴും actually ഫസ്റ്റ് ഇന്റർവ്യൂ കൂടുതൽ പറഞ്ഞത് എന്റെ പ്രൊജക്ടിനെ പറ്റിയിട്ടായിരുന്നു.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can showcase yourself in that time actually.
Last week then from Sandeep, last week I heard that many companies will continue work from home if this helps us or not. Are you asking whether this will be a good thing or not? Is that what you're asking? Sandeep?
I think so actually.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Just want to confirm. Okay. Anyway, we'll answer. Yeah, okay, good or not. Okay. Okay, Shamlik, you want to take this?
For me actually it's good thing. It will different from individual actually. So my company is so yeah, our work quality is still good, and so that our client is okay. So for me it is good, and I get some more personal time with my family, and of course home food actually I will get. So it's good thing for me.
Okay,
And
so I can give you some extra. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, some project management role actually it will be something hard. So you need to make a lot of calls. So everybody will be on their home actually. So you need to control everyone. That kind of job it is very hard. Apart from for me it's good. Yeah.
Okay, so I can give you some extra context here. So I worked from home from 2010 till 2016, 17. Yeah, so some 7-8 years I worked from home for multiple organizations. Okay, somewhere in India, somewhere outside. And I can tell you a couple of things. So one thing you should understand, that work from home is going to become a big part of post-corona IT world. Okay, Twitter has said that it'll allow all employees to work from home forever. Okay, so it's going to be a big thing. I mean,
I think TCS also mentioned something similar.
Yeah. So TCS is like a very conservative company, right? And even they are actually thinking about doing this. Means it's a big thing. So work from home is going to become what you call a staple part of the IT industry after Corona. Now, one thing which differentiates, one important thing which is there when you are working from home is written communication. Okay, when you are working from home, you cannot rely on, you can't call everybody for everything. Okay, when you're working inside an office, everybody is inside some 1,000 square foot room. Okay, so you can go and call some fellow, please tell me this, please tell me that, can you help me with this, etc. All that is possible. When you're working from home, that skill, that won't be there. Okay, a lot of stuff will have to be written, right? A lot of stuff you will have to read and understand. You can't go and ask people everything. You will have to read and understand. So which means that if you are doing the writing, you have to write well. And if you're doing the reading, you need to have good comprehension skills that way. So this value of written communication becomes very, very, very important. I don't know, has anyone here heard of the framework called Ruby on Rails? It's quite famous. Okay, Ruby on Rails is a web framework written in a language called Rails. Okay, the people who are creating that framework and running that company, they're called Basecamp. It's a company headquartered in Chicago. Okay, they are completely remote. Okay, Basecamp workers, there's one fellow in Canada, one fellow in Thailand, one fellow in Chicago, one fellow in Europe, etc., all over the place. Okay. And the founder of Basecamp, DHH, he keeps talking. He has a very nice blog called Signal versus Noise, and he keeps talking about the need for remote employees, why companies should go remote. He's been doing this from much before the Corona thing hit. And one of his arguments is, this I thought was very poignant. He said that if you have two employees, two candidates, candidate 1 and candidate 2, both of them are equal in every way. But let's say candidate 1 is a better writer, then you should hire candidate 1. Yes. If you can write properly, it means that your thinking is clear. It means you can express yourself clearly, and like it shows, it's a proxy for several other skills. Okay, so this is a skill which is going to become increasingly important, and unfortunately, our Indian education system doesn't emphasize this at all. Okay, like language and all that is, golimar. Nobody really cares. Everyone focuses on, maths and science, maths and science, maths and science, maths and science, and nothing else. Okay. I met a lot of people who worked at IITs and who studied at IITs and all that. They have really, really interesting ideas, but they're all locked up inside their head because they have no way of expressing it. Okay. So you have to ask them multiple times and this and that, and then only you'll be able to understand. So that kind of thing is a big disadvantage. In a world where working from home is going to become, I don't know if it'll become the main way of doing it, but it'll become one of the most important ways of doing it. Written communication is extremely important. Okay, so focus on that. You should develop the skill. How do you develop written communication? You maintain your own blog, write a blog and publicize it. Okay, it'll be crappy at first, but in the future it'll become better. Right? You go to sites like Stack Overflow and discussion fora and all that, and answer other people's questions. If you answer questions properly, you will learn to communicate clearly. Okay. Talk to people who are on mailing lists and open source projects and all that, but don't talk to them by Zoom or WhatsApp or something. Talk to them via typing, email or chat or Slack or something. See, even here we can see this. I ask people to ask questions, but everybody's ashamed to type in the chat because your written communication is probably weak. Right? I don't know about this specific audience, but I've seen this repeatedly. If I ask people to send me an email asking a question, they won't do it. But they'll come to my where I'm sitting, my seat, and say, "Sir, can you solve this for me?" But if they won't send that as email because they're ashamed or they don't know how to write it as email, right? And when you work from home, this is going to be extremely important. So written communication is something which you should emphasize. You should learn and you should take concrete effort to improve it. Okay, that's my. It helped me a lot. I mean, I worked from home for 6 years, 7 years. So written communication was the thing, right? And technology skills, yeah, I mean, different people have different but technology skills is necessary but not sufficient. Communication skills are necessary.
Yeah, I think just to kind of summarize what the conversation we have been having so far, I think what we are hearing is basically at your level, the place where you are in, you should be focusing on developing your skills. And I think Noufal mentioned few skills, technical skills, programming skills, communication skills. These are things that are important. And then there are techniques that you could use for clearing interviews. And then the same skills will be helpful to you when you actually go and start a job. Right? Now, irrespective of what the post-corona world will be, these skills are important for you for your entire lifetime. So at this stage, focus on developing those skills, become good at it, and then the first chance you get for an interview, try to ace that by being prepared with all the necessary skills, and then you will go on from there. I think that's essentially the story that we are kind of telling here. Is that right, Noufal?
Yeah, I think that's a good summary. I think one more question has come from Rohit. When talking about GitHub, does having a profile in Stack Overflow have any benefit in getting placement? Yeah, very much. Stack Overflow is looked at by many employers. Okay, I don't know how much.
Naufal, I don't know how much the audience is familiar with even Stack Overflow.
Okay,
I
so
don't know.
maybe
Maybe they are familiar.
I will just put it over here. So let me just see. Stackoverflow.com. Let me see. I don't know what's my.
Perhaps you can explain,
Yeah,
like, what
I
it
will.
does, right?
I'll do that. So Stack Overflow is. Let me see if I can just share my screen. Then I can show you. How do I share screen? Okay, share screen. Chrome. Share. Is my screen visible?
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't have my own. I'm not logged into Stack Overflow, but I can show you my account later. So Stack Overflow. Stack Overflow is a website which you can ask questions. Okay. So just see if I can access this. Okay. So you can ask questions over here. So typically, if you look for anything, I'll give you an example. Suppose we go to Google and we search for how do I like JSON in Golang. This is like a typical question which somebody will ask. Okay, and typically the first. Okay, this is a bad example, but let's say this. How do I create? How do I? Let's say. Let's say Python. I don't know. Yeah, many of these things. These are all bad examples, but I can't think of questions that I would ask. So, but the thing is, yeah. You have a question?
How do I pass JSON in Python?
How do I pass JSON in Python? Yeah. So if you take, so this also, I think it's changed these days, but yeah. So the thing is, if you ask a very specific technical question, how do I read JSON files line by line? Let's see.
Maybe they stop crawling Stack Overflow.
No, it's very unlikely. So, yeah, so this kind of thing. So see, typically when you ask very focused kind of questions, like extract part of data files from this thing, or let's say JSON parsing with variable keys. This was something I did like few days ago. So these kinds of things, see? If you ask something like this, a very specific question about a specific problem you have, most probably the first response will be on Stack Overflow. Okay, so Stack Overflow is a site that has questions and answers. Okay, and anybody can ask a question. You can create an account and you can ask questions, and different people can answer it. So see here, somebody is answering this. I believe you. This fellow is asking a question. I have JSON string like this. I want to do this, blah blah blah, something. And the answer is like, I believe you want something like this, etc., etc. So somebody has answered this over here. Okay, so doing this will give you karma. So this is an example person over here, Gustavo. So he's got 16,605 points. Okay, and this person now has like some number of points on all these different websites, Ask Ubuntu, electrical engineering, and different things. Employers can see this score. And employers can see that this fellow is answering Go questions, this fellow is answering database questions, this fellow is answering MongoDB questions, etc. So I'll just show you in my own case. I don't know if it will be here. You can get it directly. I must have answered some things. Yeah, okay, Noufal Ibrahim. This is my profile on Stack Overflow. Okay, so I have 63,000 something reputation, right? And so I answer questions on Git, Python, Emacs, and Linux, Bash, etc., Shell, and things. So when you look at when employers Google for my name, if they search for my name, Noufal Ibrahim, right? My Stack Overflow profile will be there somewhere on the first page, second page maybe. Right? Yeah, my Stack Overflow profile will be here on the first page, and this much is there. And I don't know about freshers, right? But I know a lot of my friends who are in like 4 or 5 years of experience. They use Stack Overflow extensively to find jobs. Okay. The quality of Stack Overflow has a job board. So you can actually apply for jobs using the Stack Overflow job board, and it will use your Stack Overflow profile to, sort of publicize that. So in that sense, creating a good Stack Overflow profile is very useful because you get what you call good, you get a lot of visibility. I've had people whom I go to when I go for meetups and groups and all that. Noufal Ibrahim, you're that fellow on Stack Overflow, right? Who answers all those Git questions. I say, yeah, that's me. So that's an introduction. Okay. And that helps. So I think it's useful to maintain. And the other side point is, which I just answered to Sandeep some time ago, your writing skills improve enormously if you use Stack Overflow, if you answer questions on Stack Overflow. Right? So some people ask, hairy questions, right? Like this, look at this. Somebody has asked checking out Git tag. This is a question specific to a piece of software called Git. Right? And it's got very confusing output. So I actually spent some time and wrote this. Few terms simplified. I simplified it. I wrote this. I made sure that I use proper formatting and paragraphs and everything. And then I said, okay, this is the introduction. Once the introduction is finished, now here's the explanation. Then I explained this to him properly. Okay, and then I finally told him, like, this is how you should, you can learn more. Okay, and this is like, this was, see here, awesome answer and like this and that and all that. And it's like 426 upvotes. It's like pretty huge, Stack Overflow terms. So these are the kinds of jobs. See, you can see on the side, look, Python developer, Bangalore, Python developer, Mysore, junior Python developer, Kochi. Oh, Kochi. Opening for Python developer, Bangalore, senior Go developer, remote, no office location, Python developer, Edgefinity. Then here, let's see, tech lead, senior Python developer. See, so many, these are all Python jobs. Right? So if you have a good profile, these things start coming up, and then, you can sort of use that to find yourself a job. This is much more higher quality jobs than, Naukri.com or, all those kinds of websites. So I would definitely recommend that if people spend some effort in creating and maintaining a good Stack Overflow profile. Highly recommended. Okay, cool. Okay, any other questions? I think this format is working better. People are actually asking what's relevant to them, right? Rather than scripted questions.
Yeah, compared to last.
Yeah, I think this is better. So any other questions, people you have?
So let's ask people, I mean, are they finding it useful, or is it like, a wastage of time?
Yeah, any
what
feedback?
What we want is we want to improve this, right? I mean, we are planning to have 2 more such sessions. How can we make it like, more relevant? If you think there are like, few things that we can do, or if it is like, not meeting your expectation, let us know why and like, what we can do better.
Any feedback?
And no offense.
No offense will be taken. So many people like.
Any feedback from Roshan or Rohit?
Or are there more questions?
Yeah, if there are more questions, feel free to ask. Type the choika madyanangi, you can use voice. That's also fine. Unmute yourself and ask the question. I think all of you are muted. You can unmute and. Yeah, so somebody sent me a message saying privately, saying that I think this way is better, which is probably a good thing. But yeah. So. Any other questions? Anything else? See, one thing which you should understand is like if all of you people who are going, I'm assuming that you've joined this webinar because you're interested in getting a job and all that. Okay. If you don't take advantage of opportunities and ask questions which are useful to you, you're going to have trouble. Okay, so don't be afraid, don't be shy.
So while people are thinking about question, Noufal, do you want to speak a little bit about Lyceum, what Lyceum does and all that?
Yeah, we can do that. So the company that's actually doing this thing, Lyceum, is Asif and I. Asif has this screen name, The Lyceum, and me here. Both of us are the founders of the company. And our mission is to actually improve the quality of fresh graduates in, like, basically solve the skill gap problem, right? So we have engineers who are coming out from Indian engineering colleges like by the ton, and we have job positions that are, you know, lying vacant because they can't find people to hire. Right? Why is this problem there? If you have uh, if you have high quality engineers coming out, then there should be no problem with companies finding jobs. But the problem is the quality of engineers is very low and the expectations of companies are very high. What we are trying to do is we are increasing the quality of the engineers to above and beyond what the companies expect. Okay, that's what we are trying to do. And we are trying to do that primarily through, you know, a lot of online processes. So the main thing which we have coming out very soon is an app called Nskill. Nskill is our technology platform which we use to actually, you know, train and improve the quality of people. We are releasing an app called Nskill app, which will actually have interview prep kind of stuff, which means questions specific to large companies, small companies. Also, it will have lessons which are specific to your first year of engineering, which means programming specific, how to learn, how to become a programmer, how to think and become like a programmer. Right? It will have courses on that. It will also have ways of doing it in short bursts. Like not everyone will have the time to sit in front of a video for 2 hours and, you know, study programming like that. They can't do it. So we try to do it in smaller size bursts that you can actually take while you're on the go. When you're waiting in a queue or when you're simply sitting down, you can actually learn in small bursts. Okay. So the app will be out in late May, maybe early June, but I recommend it highly to all of you. We'll put a link on the WhatsApp group so that you'll know. And that will be something which will help you actually train and improve your skills for this. In addition to that, Lyceum conducts a lot of other programs, like some of these online webinars will be there. Then there will be in-house mentoring and stuff like that, which we will do once the virus lockdown is over. And Asif, should we mention our new the entrepreneurship thing?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea to mention that.
Right. So the other thing which we are doing.
Should I talk about it, or?
You can talk about it. Fine.
Yeah. Or maybe like go ahead. I mean, you were on this team, so go ahead.
Yeah. So the other thing which we are doing is a lot of people, like, see, take companies like Airbnb, Uber, and all these kinds of companies. They were all created during a economic slowdown. Okay. So the time right now, if you do a project that can actually be useful, it's a good time to get into the market. Okay. So what we are doing is we are conducting this. So it's not an incubator kind of thing. It's like a entrepreneurship mentoring kind of setup. The idea is we're going to take small batches of students, right, and then give them startup ideas and guidance and other things like that to work on. They will sit together and they will create a startup with a product and a market within a period of time. I think what we've said is like 9 months. Is that thing right? Asif, 9 months, no?
Yeah.
Yeah. So within 9 months, they'll have this full thing created. Okay. And this will be like super intense. Okay. You will do coding and marketing and business and financials and all those things. Okay. You will have a company. Like people, like initially people were offering people jobs. Okay. Now this is not offering you a job. This is offering you a company of your own, which is a lot more valuable. Okay. So that is another thing which we are starting. I think the first batch interviews are happening right now. Within a couple of weeks, we'll finalize and we'll take that first batch. Okay. So that's another thing which you should look forward to. So if anybody who recently graduates and who's looking for something different from just going for a job somewhere and becoming a nameless fellow, then this is an opportunity for you.
Yeah, Lyceum is the best. Yeah, one of the best.
Yeah, Shamlik, maybe you can share your experience on Lyceum.
Shamlik studied at Lyceum for during our early
so
days, so he can talk about it. Yes.
Yeah, so Lyceum is the best learning center in Kerala for learning this pure technical. So in Lyceum, actually, an officer wants spoon feed you basically. So you need to put some effort to study it. So he will just, the proper mentorship basically. So he will give you some links or some overall idea. So then actually we need to learn ourselves. So that's the best thing I liked about Lyceum. That's the thing.
Yeah. So I think a couple of
actually Lyceum
questions. Thank you, Shamlik.
yeah.
A few more questions have come. I have recently started taking.
One second. Shamlik, can you explain, do you feel any difference between the Lyceum and any other institutions that's training?
Uh, that I don't know. So I just after my graduation, I just went to Lyceum. So so comparing between college and Lyceum is 100 times better actually, not 1,000 times better. That's only thing.
Okay, so I think a couple of more questions have come. I'll look at those from Indrajit, right? Redmi. No, that was Realme. Redmi is somebody
So,
else.
so there was a question that somebody asked, right, to Shamlik. Could you explain about your job? What do
I think
you
there's a
actually
question before that. We'll take it in
Oh,
order.
okay. Yeah. Definitely. Go ahead.
I have recently started taking Python courses and I want to know how I should find a job with Python. Okay, if you see, the thing is, if you like, there are, like I said, these job sites and many of those. We'll put a few of them when we send out the mailer for this seminar, webinar. But really, what you should do is this: you should do interesting things with Python. You should write your own projects. You should do your own things like that. Put it out on GitHub and expose yourself to the world. Okay, and then let the good jobs come to you. Like see, the good companies are not going to, they're looking very actively for good programmers. Okay, so what you should do is, if you expose yourself properly, you will find those kind of opportunities. Okay, so my recommendation is, one, you keep your skills pucka, keep your skills solid. Second thing, you publicize it. Make yourself a GitHub profile, make yourself a Stack Overflow profile, make yourself create a blog for yourself, attend events, right? A lot of these events which are there in the US and other places like that were very expensive for students to go to. All of them have moved online. The premium Python conference, which is conducted worldwide, PyCon, is gone online. Okay, so you sitting in your home with a cheap internet connection can speak to the creator of Python and all these, hotshots worldwide. Okay, so and create a network like that. That is where your good jobs will come from. If you simply put your resume on something like Naukri.com, there's a limit to what. So I would recommend you do that. I'll give you some small examples of this. Another thing, when the last flood was there in Kerala, there was a person, I forget his name, he created this website called Kerala Rescue, keralarescue.in. Okay, it's a simple Django website. It's a Django website. He put it on, I think, Heroku. That's a hosting website. He put it over there, and people were able during the flood. Okay. That website became super popular. Okay, it became very popular and very useful also. He got an invitation for the PyCon. He got so many other things. He's like, like his resume will be like, name of person, keralarescue.in. That's enough. People will say, okay, what is this thing? That's enough. Okay. It's like he has enough social capital to actually get into any job because of that. So what I recommend is, don't just study Python and do some certifications and sit quietly. Put out your work, put it on GitHub, contribute to other projects, write blogs, answer questions on Stack Overflow, attend meetups and things, talk at meetups, do your network, like spread yourself out. Okay, that's the way you'll find good jobs. Yeah, I think Bishwas was the one, right? That was the one.
Right. Yeah, then actually, I think actually you can start with your career on startups rather than big MNC. So from startup, actually, you will learn a lot of stuff actually more than MNC. Yeah, from my experience actually. So yeah, I'm working for a company called SiteRx. So we will get a lot of patient information, something like that, patient data. And so from that here, the patient history data, so we will do some analysis and we will predict some future disease, something like that. So this patient might have a chance to get Alzheimer's or some kind of thing actually. So that's the thing I'm currently doing. Yeah, so my part is basically analyzing. So it's something called data pipeline. So we need to gather a lot of data, and we need to process real time, and we need to display something somewhere. That kind of thing actually basically I am doing. So Golang, and yeah, that's the thing actually. So yeah, so my experience basically, so first 1 or 2 years actually you just do anything, then actually you can focus on one particular technology after that. Am I clear?
Specialize.
Yeah, specialist.
Vishnu, did he answer your question?
Okay.
Then there was a question from Bharatam Bhuvan. Will we get notified when Lyceum app gets started? Yes, you will. If you are on the, I think Manjusha and Minati have you on our mailing list. So all those people will get a notification. And
Also, we are in social media like Facebook, LinkedIn, Insta, everywhere. So please follow. You'll get information
that's also
from there.
there. Yes. So we'll announce it on all the typical social media platforms that everyone is on these days: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, whatever, all of them.
TikTok.
Okay. Question from Vishnu. I'm good at C++. Should I keep improving C++ or learn new languages? I've heard that C++ is an old language and most companies don't use it anymore. Vishnu, can you just tell us, like, are you in college, or how many years of experience? What are you doing? It really depends on that. If you're in third year, then you should not specialize. So if you're in third year, don't specialize. You should learn more languages. Okay, like I said, see, like if you know C++ and another language, that's a good thing, right? So I mean, of course, be good at C++. I'm not saying it's bad, but the thing is, like, there's a bigger world out there, right? C++ is not the only language out there. So you find out weaknesses in C++, see how other languages fix that. So there's this language called Rust, which is basically C++ plus ML. Okay, ML means not machine language, but your SML. It's like a functional programming language. So a combination of those two is like Rust, and that gives you more, like, or many problems which were there with C++ are solved with Rust. So that's if you're into that system style programming, then that's one path you can take. If you know C++ very well, then the other thing you should probably do is, like, you explore other languages in the same area, explore languages in a completely different area. Look at things like, JavaScript, or, Python, or what you call it. Yeah, maybe, yeah, that's the mobile side, but I'm talking specifically about dynamically typed programming languages. So those kinds of things. Then perhaps 1 or 2 languages on the Java stack. So maybe Clojure, Scala, a couple of things like that. So make yourself wide. Don't go too deep right now. Third year of college means you should not become you won't, like, a guy who has 5-6 years of C++ experience will have more C++ knowledge than you. So you cannot compete at that level. So what I think you should do is you should learn more. You should become wider, study more things like that.
Yeah, one additional thing I think Vishnu should do, in my opinion, is I mean, use your C++ language skills to build, or, like, do projects. Okay, do, like, complex projects. And while you're doing that, you may find, like, a certain area where C++ may be actually slowing you down. And that's where you decide, maybe using a different language will help you, like, speed you up with respect to either building the process or running that, like, program. In which case you actually try to figure out which language is best for building that and try to learn that language. So just like, learning language in terms of syntax, I don't know how helpful it will be for somebody in college. Basically, if you want to be good at a language, it's not like whether you can answer all the questions in Balaguru Swami or, like, something like that. It's actually your ability to build systems. It's your ability to solve complex problems through the medium of that language. That's what is important. Okay. and that's what you should strive for. And while doing that, pick up another language. That would be my take on how I would approach it.
Cool. All right. Any other questions?
Yeah.
This was like, it's half an hour over time. So if we have other questions, we can take them. Otherwise, we can wind up. Anything else? Manjusha, do you want to tell them about when will the next one be and details like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So just announce, right? When is the next?
Next Rahul will be our speaker. So the same time, 2 o'clock.
So 2 o'clock next Sunday.
Yeah. So before that, like ഇപ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് ഈ ഉള്ള ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസിന് ലൈക്ക് വേറെ എന്തെങ്കിലും ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് നമുക്ക് ആഡ് ചെയ്യണം. അപ്പൊ നമ്മുടെ നെക്സ്റ്റ് വീക്ക് ടോപ്പിക് അല്ലാതെ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് വേറെ എന്തെങ്കിലും ടോപ്പിക് ഇൻഫർമേഷൻസ് വേണമെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ സജസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്താൽ നമ്മൾ ആ ടോപ്പിക്കും കൂടെ ആഡ് ചെയ്യാം.
Okay.
Thank you everyone.
Okay, see you.
Okay.
Thanks, Noufal. Thanks, Shamlik, for your time.
Thanks, Minadi.